Hello student, welcome back to the classical mechanics course. In last lecture, when we have a magnetic field, it is in the parallel to the direction of velocity vector or charged particle. There is no effect of the magnetic field on the motion of the charged particle, but when the magnetic field is perpendicular to the direction of the motion of the charged particle, in that case, charged particle follows the circular trajectory, circular motion. Okay, suppose this is all about these two special cases. But my question is, suppose if you apply the magnetic field by making certain angle with the motion of the charged particle. So angle between B and V is in between 0 to 90. So if I take the angle theta is 60 degree. So what is the effect of these magnetic field on the motion of the charged particle? So this is our today's topic. Suppose if we have suppose if you want to express the motion of the charged particle, we have to have these three coordinate system. Suppose magnetic field is along z direction. Suppose this is z coordinates. Okay, this is y coordinates. Let's say, sorry, this is x coordinates, or you can write in whatever the manner you can write. See, okay. So magnetic field is along the z direction. Motion of the charged particle is, let's say, in the plane of xyz. So this is the motion of the charged particle. So in two-dimensional, it is look like the motion of the charged particle in the plane of x and z, but this is not the case, where the motion of the charged particle in three dimension. So motion of the charged particle has a x component, has a y component, and has a z component also. So it has a three components, x, y, z. So what is the effect of this magnetic field on the motion of the charged particle? Because we already discussed the parallel effect of the magnetic field on the motion of the charged particle, as well as perpendicular to the, when we apply the perpendicular magnetic field to the motion of the charged particle. But in this case, there is no such 0 angle or 90 degree. The angle between V and B is in between 0 to 90. It may be any angle. So in such case, what is the effect of magnetic field on the motion of the charged particle? Okay, so let's do some mathematics. So according to Lorentz force equation, yes, again go back to the, according to Lorentz force equation, yes, according to Lorentz force equation, F bar is equal to, we are directly writing for the force experienced by the charged particle in magnetic field. So Q V cross B. Okay, and according to Newton's second law, Newton's second law of motion, yes, F bar is equal to S M dV by dt. So this we already discussed, and combining these two equations will get the resultant equation for the force. Okay, so again M dV by dt is equal to S Q V cross B. So we already discussed this quantity in last lecture. So this is suppose equation number 1. So what is velocity and what is B? Since the, what is velocity, so what is magnetic field? So magnetic field is applied in the direction z axis, in the z direction. So B bar is equal to Bz k cap. Okay, so Bz k cap. So this k cap denotes the direction of the magnetic field. So this equation, let's say equation 2. And what is velocity? Yes, we already discussed what is velocity. Velocity is in the three dimension. So this is, velocity has x component, y component, and z component also. So Vx I cap, Vy j cap, and Vz k cap. So this is equation number 3. And what is this Vx, Vy, Vz? Component of velocity along x-axis, component of velocity along y-axis, and component of velocity along z-axis. And this I, j, k are the unit vector along the x, y and z direction. Okay, so I think this is up to this, it is okay. So from this given diagram, so from equation 1 and equation 2, so equation 2 and 3 in 1. So if you put the value of v and b in our original equation, so what is the form of equation? So let's try to write this m d by dt, and instead of v we have this whole term vx I cap plus vy j cap plus vz this k cap is equal to, yes, q as it is, since the q is scalar. V, again we have a v, similarly vx I cap vy j cap vz k cap cross, this sign indicates the cross product of this, into bz k cap. So velocity direction of the magnetic field is only along the k axis. Okay, so multiply or take the cross product of each and every term with this b axis. Okay, so let's this q as it is, yes, vx into bz, those are the multiplier of this vector k and I. So vx into bz, so those are the scalars, but this k and I denote the direction of the vectors. So I just multiply the scalars and separately I cap k cap. Okay, so this is I cross k cap. Okay, so similarly write for this y component also, yes, vy into bz into yes j cap, or I just write over here j cap cross k cap plus again vz into bz, yes, k cap and cross k cap. This cross sign indicates the cross product of the two vectors, and this with this we close the brackets. Okay, so what are the basic properties of this vector? I cross k, j cross k and k cross k. Yes, do you remember? So from the basic vector calculus, yes, so from basic vector calculus, I cross k or I cross j is equal to, yes, k, j cross k is equal to I, and k cross I is equal to j. So in the sequence I, j and k. So I cross j, k, j cross k, I, and k cross I, again j. Okay, and if you reverse the direction, if you reverse, so j cross k, j cross I minus k, again k cross j, again minus I, and similarly this minus j. Okay, so this is this. So when we alter the direction of the vector product, this sign becomes negative. Okay, so we can. Okay, so we have a I cross k. So I cross k, yes, this is k cross I is equal to j. When we write this I cross k, it comes out to be minus j. Okay, so instead of this, we just write this. So this is for the basic. Okay, so we write over here similarly. So Q as it is, Vx Bz again as it is, Vx Bz, and what is I cross k? Yes, minus j cap plus Vy Bz as it is plus Vy Bz as it is, and what is j cross k? J cross k is I plus I cap. Okay, so this is plus I. And what is k cross k? So when I cross I, j cross j is equal to k cross k is equal to 0. And why it is 0? I cross I into sine of angle between these two vectors. And what is the angle between, similar to a self vector? 0, and sine 0 is 0. So that's why this comes out to be 0. So last term goes away. So remaining term is as it is, so plus 0. Okay. So this is all about this transformation of this vector. So I just keep this side as it is and writing this term over here. So again, so I just write this Q Vx Bz into minus j cap plus this Vy Bz into I cap. Okay. So this is the transformation of this vector. So okay, so in the similar manner we can write this term over here as well. So m divide multiply. So if you transpose this m into this side, so it will get this vector in the denominator. Okay. So what is the next procedure? So again differentiate separately. So dvx by dt into I cap as it is plus dvy by dt j cap, and similarly for dvz by dt k cap is equal to, so this same equation, q m vx bz into minus j cap plus q upon m vy bz I cap. Okay, so this is the expansion of this term. So if you compare the I, j, k component of the both side of equation, let's say equation number 3. So what do we get? So comparing component of I, j and k on both sides. So this I, we have a I over here, this j, we have a j over here, but the negative sign, so it doesn't matter. And for k we don't have a RHS terms. Okay, so write step by step. So dvx by dt, yes, for I, what is the component on the RHS for I? Yes, q upon m into vy bz. Let's say this equation, again we can rewrite this equation, q bz upon m, so it looks like some constant quantity, into vy. So this equation number, let's say equation number 4. This is it if you compare the I component on the both side. Similarly for j component, we have a dy by dt on the LHS side, and for j component we have a negative quantity on the RHS side. So by dt is equal to minus, yes, qbz upon m, similar quantities, into vx, equation number, let's say 5. And for z components, so for z component, so dvz by, we have a 0, we don't have a 0 z component on this equation number, let's say 6. Okay, so we have a 3 equation. Velocity equation, we can say dvx by dt is equal to q upon m or qbz upon m into vy. dvy by dt is equal to minus this constant quantity into vx, and for dz by dt is equal to 0. Okay, so we have this one, and look at these values. This dvx by dt is basically acceleration of the charged particle along x direction, and what is, on which factor it is depend? It is depend along the on the velocity of the charged particle along the y direction. So it is look like some magical term, we can say. So the acceleration of the charged particle along the x direction depends on the velocity of charged particle along the y direction, and vice versa. Okay, so this is something new we are not seeing earlier. Okay, so instead of this qbz upon m, so we have this common term in both the equations. So instead of qbz, suppose qbz upon m, we instead put this omega, and by the way, this omega is the, yes, cyclotron frequency. Okay, so this is we will discuss some later, and it is denoted by this constant omega. Okay, so again rewriting this equation 4 and 5 and 6. So we'll write this dvx by dt is equal to, yes, omega vy. This equation, I just write this 4 again as it is, 4 dvy by dt is equal to minus omega vx, and dvz by dt is equal to 0. This is 5, this is 6. Okay, so this is all set. So our aim is to find the find the trajectory of this charged particle. So we have this vx, vy and vz in the velocity term. So from that equation we extract the velocity term by again integration. Again from the integration we again go for the displacement of the charged particle. So before going into that detail, let's do some mathematics. So differentiate the equation 4. So if you differentiate equation number 4, so if we differentiate this equation 4, so we'll have a d2 vx by dt square is equal to omega constant, keep it as it is, and what is this dvy by dt. But what is the value of dy by dt? From equation 5 we have a dy by dt, that is minus omega vx. So from 5 we have this dv by dt is equal to minus omega vx. We already have this value for the dv by dt. So d2 vx upon dt square is equal to omega, and instead of dv by dt we have a minus omega vx, and again rewriting this equation d2 vx by dt square minus omega square vx. Again try to So rewriting this equation, so d2 vx by dt square plus, if we just rewrite this v square x term from this side to this side, so omega square vx, this equation number, let's say 7. So this is very famous equation in partial differential equation. Okay, and what is the root of this equation? Yes, so root of this equation is, yes, vx is equal to v0, yes, sine omega t plus phi. Okay, so this is the solution for this equation number, let's say. Okay, so we got the velocity term along the x-axis. So again, differentiate. If you differentiate above equation, so we'll get this vx is equal to v0, again constant, and what is derivative of sine? Yes, cos of omega t plus phi into innermost term, derivative of innermost term is omega t into omega, so v0 omega cos of dvx by dt is equal to cos omega t plus phi. So this is dvx by dt, and from equation 4, what is dvx by dt? Omega vy. So from equation 4, from equation 4, what is dvx by dt? Omega vy. So omega vy is equal to v0 omega cos omega t plus phi. By the way, this phi is a phase angle, so we'll discuss this term later. So omega coolly cancel out. Vy is equal to v0 cos of omega t phi. This is equation number, let's say 9. Similarly, if we try to solve this equation vz, yes, so if quantity of some derivative of some quantity comes out to be 0, so this quantity is constant quantity, constant in nature, we can say. So we have this v0 is a constant, and it is the initial velocity of the charged particle. So if we try to extract vz from this dt, so dvz by dt is equal to 0. So from that equation, the vz is comes out to be vz is equal to constant, and that constant is v0. So vz is equal to v0. So this is equation again number 10, equation number 10. So we have a vx value, we have a vy value, and we have a vz value. So for vx, so vx is equal to v0 sine omega t plus phi. So this is equation number 8, we have already discussed, so this is 8. So how to write this vx in terms of displacement, in terms of position of the charged particle? Yes, but vx is equal to dx upon dt, since the velocity is derivative of displacement. So instead of this vx in equation 8, we put dx by dt. So what information we can get? So dx by dt is equal to v0 remaining term as is sine omega t plus phi, multiply both sides of the equation dt. So again we come to the same procedure we already follow. So dx is equal to v0 sine omega t plus phi into dt, and again same procedure, apply the integration. So integrate above equation, If you integrate above equation, what do you get? What is integration of dx? So integration of this dx is equal to integration of this whole term v0 sine of omega t plus phi into dt. So integration of this x plus v0 again constant, and what is integration of sine omega t plus phi? Minus cos omega t, minus cos omega t plus phi divided by derivative. Okay, so what is derivative of this omega t plus phi? Upon omega. So, and plus some constant of integration and plus c1, let's say, and if you apply the initial boundary condition, you will get this c1 is x0. So x0 with the constant of integration. So rewriting this equation, x minus x0, I just put this x0 on this side, minus v0 upon omega cos omega t plus, this is equation number, let's say 11. Similarly, if we integrate equation number 9, similarly equation 9 becomes, yes, and what is equation number 9? So vy is equal to, yes, v0 cos of omega t plus phi, and instead of instead of vy, we again put the value, yes, instead of dvy, vy, we have a vy is equal to dv by dt. So using this value in this equation, equation number 9, so we already write this 9. So dy by dt v0 cos omega t plus phi remaining term as it is, multiply both sides of the equation by dt, so we get this dy is equal to v0 cos of omega t plus phi into dt. Again same process, integrate the above equation, integrate. So after integration, dy is equal to v0 cos of omega t plus phi into dt. Again integration of dy is y, simply integration of this v0 is again constant, so it comes out of the integration. And what is integration of cos omega t plus phi? Sine omega t plus phi divided by the derivative of innermost term, and derivative of this omega t plus phi is come out to be omega plus some constant of integration c2, and after substituting the initial boundary condition, this c2 comes out to be y0. So this y minus y0 is v0 upon omega sine omega t plus phi. This is equation number, let's say 12. So similarly, we can write this equation by using equation 10. We write the equation for these z coordinates, motion of the charged particle along the z axis. So that is z. So we have this equation for this vz is equal to, yes, v0. So again rewriting this vz in terms of derivative. So vz is equal to dz by dt. So if you substitute this value in this equation, so we'll get this dz by dt is equal to v0, multiply both sides of the equation by dt, so we'll get this and apply and taking the integration, so dz is equal to v0 dt. So z is equal to v0 t plus some cost of integration, and this cost of integration we know already, and we directly write this z minus z0. So this is equation number, let's say 13. So we have a position or the displacement of the charged particle along x, y and z direction. So combining equation using equation, let's say 11 and 12. So we can use these two equation 11, that is x minus x0, squaring on both sides basically, so squaring and adding. So we have this equation number 11 and 12. So square those equation RHS side, add them. So what is the result of this equation? So x minus x0, LHS of equation number 11, square of that term, again y minus y0, LHS of equation number 12, we have already this equation over here, square, writing the RHS sides. So we have a RHS sides for equation number 11, that is minus v0 upon omega square, yes, and cos of omega t plus phi, this square of this term, so cos square again, plus square and squaring of equation RHS side of the equation, so that is v0 omega squaring and sine square omega t plus phi, this is t. Okay, so again rearranging the equation, so rearranging the equation, so what do we get? So we'll get this x minus x0 bracket square plus y minus y0 bracket square is equal to, so this omega v0 omega square is constant, v0 square upon omega squares and plus sine square omega t plus phi plus cos square omega t plus phi. So what is sine square plus cos square theta? It comes up to be 1. So x minus x0 bracket square plus y minus y0 bracket square is equal to v0 square upon omega square. So this is equation number, let's say 40. And what is the form of this equation? So this equation represents the circle, or the motion of the charged particle is spring motion. So the spring motion, so look at this value, so centered is x0 y0 and radius is v0 square upon omega square. So we already discussed the, if you have a magnetic field parallel to the direction of charged particle, it is constant motion, there is no effect of magnetic field. And if you have a perpendicular magnetic field, so when charged particle is in the plane of magnetic field, so there is no such definite angle between this magnetic field and, so when charged particle move in the magnetic, suppose this is z, and charged particle move. So motion of the charged particle have these two different components. Suppose it makes an angle theta. So this is v cos theta and vertical component v sin theta. So v cos theta is a perpendicular component of velocity in the, this is z direction, this is velocity, magnetic field is along z direction. So angle between b and v cos theta is 90 degree. So due to this v cos theta, motion of the charged particle try to rotate in the circular motion, whereas this v sin theta and b are in the same direction. So this v sin theta and b makes an angle 0, since there is no change in the motion of the charged particle due to that component. So we have a two component, one component perpendicular, one component parallel, and due to that two motions, since this v cos theta says that no, this is circular motion, you have to rotate in the circular way, and this v sin theta, since there is no angle between v and b, so you have to go in the straight line. So due to these two motion of the charged particle, v cos theta, v sin theta. These charged particle move along the magnetic field in this way. So this is z axis, this is base z, and when charged particle is entered into the magnetic field, so due to the perpendicular v cos theta component, it try to rotate circular motion wise, but due to vertical component v sin theta, it try to go into the upward side, and resultant of these two motion is the spring motion, or we can say it looks like the spring kinds of the thing. So this is the motion of the charged particle when we apply the magnetic field. In another word, we can say that suppose if you have this chalk, and if I just move this chalk in up and down, okay, and suppose if you have only up and down motion, and if I move this chalk with this motion, if you have this chalk with this motion and this motion, so you can write, you can see this chalk is looks like this path followed by the chalk is this, okay. So this collective motion of this charged particle due to this two component v cos theta and v sin theta, the resultant motion of the charged particle is spring kind of the motion or spiral motion, we can say that. So this is the effect of the magnetic field, constant magnetic field to this motion of the charged particle. So this is all about this magnetic field, effect of magnetic field on the motion of the charged particle. So we again represent such kinds of the motion with the help of this graphic.
In the last graphic, we see that when the charged particle move in the perpendicular direction, so the charge followed the circular trajectory. And why charge follow the circular trajectory, we already talked about in the last lecture. So in these graphics, we see in the lecture where when we have this magnetic field or the motion of the charged particle making a certain angle with the magnetic field, since there is no fixed angle that is angle 0 or 90 degree, as we see in the previous lectures, where in the parallel case we have there is no such effect of magnetic field on the motion of the charged particle, whereas in case of these perpendicular magnetic field, the charged particle follows the circular path. So if the charged particle makes a certain angle with this magnetic field, so in that case, what is the trajectory, or what should be the trajectory of this charged particle, and which factor is supposed to be responsible for making these kinds of the trajectory? So let us discuss with the help of this animation. So in order to explain the motion of the charged particle, in order to explain the motion of any object, we have a coordinate system. Suppose if you have a x, y, z, three perpendicular coordinates, the perpendicular axis, and the magnetic field is acting along this z direction. Of course, you can apply the magnetic field in any direction, but for the sake of completion, for the sake of simplicity, we apply the magnetic field is along the z direction. And suppose charged particle is move along the any direction which makes an angle with the magnetic field. Suppose charged particle move in the xz plane with some initial velocity. So this initial velocity, that is v bar, makes an angle theta with the magnetic field axis. So if there is no particular dependence of this velocity vector on the magnetic field, so we can, if such condition occurs, so in that case we divide this velocity vector in its component. So this velocity vector can be divided into two perpendicular components. One perpendicular component is acting along this magnetic field direction, that is v cos theta, and another velocity vector, velocity components, which is perpendicular to the magnetic field, that is v sin theta. Since with the help of this v cos theta and v sin theta, we can explain the motion of the charged particle in the magnetic field, where there is no such fixed angle between these magnetic field and velocity vector. So I would like to tell you that the trajectory supposed to be followed by this charged particle is depend on these three coordinates, three perpendicular velocity vectors. Since these velocity vector v cos theta is the parallel component of the velocity along the magnetic field direction, that is this v cos theta and b are in the parallel case, in the parallel direction. So in that case, these velocity vector, that is parallel velocity vector, it try to move the charged particle into the direction of this magnetic field without any deflection. So this V cos theta is a parallel component. Since the parallel component, there is no such effect on the magnetic field. So these V cos theta components try to pull this charge particle without any reflection. And vice versa, this V sin theta component, which is the perpendicular to the magnetic field. So this V sin theta component try to try to rotate this charge particle in a such a way that the charge particle follow the circular path. Since we know that when the charge particle is perpendicular to the magnetic field, it follows the circular path. So this V sin theta component of the velocity, it try to move this charge particle into the circular motion, whereas this V cos theta factor of the component of the velocity try to move the charge particle without any reflection. So this resultant trajectory followed by the charge particle is the effect of this V cos theta and V sin theta. So the resultant trajectory is the combination of this parallel as well as perpendicular component. So let us see with the help of this animation. So as we say, these x, y, z components are required to describe the motion of the charge particle. Bz be the magnitude of the magnetic field which is acting along the z direction, and suppose charge particle, as previously said, it is moved with some initial velocity, and this initial velocity makes an angle with the magnetic field, and after making certain angle, what is the motion of the charge particle? Let us see with the help of these graphics. So the charge particle, as this enters into the magnetic field region, due to parallel component, it moves along the z direction, that is in the direction of the magnetic field, and due to vertical component, that is the V sin theta, it follows the circular trajectory. And the effect of these two components, these two velocity vectors with the magnetic field resultant, follows the charge particle in the spring kind of the motion or helical motion. So the charge particle follows this helical path. So you can clearly see with the help of these graphics where the charge particle follows the helical path or the spring kind of the path, and which is the result of this parallel component of the velocity and the perpendicular component of the velocity. So this resultant motion of the charge particle is the effect of these parallel component, which is try to move this charge particle parallel to the magnetic field, whereas the perpendicular component of the velocity try to pull this charge particle into the circular motion, and the resultant path followed by the charge particle we can see with the help of these graphics. So with the help of these such kinds of the observation, we can apply it into the various electronic industry. So this is the motion of the charge particle when there is no such a fixed theta angle between, since there is no such a zero angle or 90-degree angle between magnetic field vector and velocity vector. So due to these two vectors, parallel component and perpendicular component of this velocity, it follows this helical path or spring kind of the motion. So this is all about this motion of the charge particle into the magnetic field.
So with this, we stop this lecture. So this is effect of electric. In the last lecture, we studied effect of electric field. In current lecture, we already discussed the effect of magnetic field by studying independent, parallel component, perpendicular component. In the next lecture, we discuss what is the effect of both electric and magnetic field. This is again quite an interesting topic. So for today, we'll stop here. Thank you. Thank you very much.